One. Hey, hi everyone. This is Jerry Wise, a life and relationship coach. And thank you for joining Jerry Wise Relationship Systems YouTube channel. I hope you'll subscribe and also join the membership, paid membership of $1.99 a month. I hope you'll click join and join us for that. Help support the videos, the free videos that you get. We are continuing with our principles of self-differentiation, and this is number 11, I believe. I am happily joined by Yitz Goldberg, who also works here and sees clients. And I thought I would have Yitz say hello and introduce the principle.
Hey everyone, good to be here again. Today we will be talking about principle number 11, which is learning to make peace with differences in yourself and others. And to me, this principle is about being okay, not only with similarities with others, but also with differences. And very often we are okay when it comes to other people and relationships when things are very similar and we have things in common, and we tend to not be okay or even lose ourselves when there are differences, and when especially when those differences are very, very clear and out there.
I made a note. Accepting differences is a means to accepting self. And certainly other people, we cannot control other people's thoughts, feelings, beliefs. And if we accept the differences between us, we then are able to more differentiate or detach ourselves by accepting their differences. And we begin to see more clearly where we end and others begin when we do that. So finding self with accepting differences is a way for us to find that self.
Yeah, and as humans, we have a lot of things that are common, right? Just from being human. And I even feel like that our culture expects us to find things that we are similar in and try to find more similarities than being okay with differences. And there's a certain point of this work is learning to find those differences and be okay with them, because those differences are part of being human. It doesn't make you unhuman because you're different. That it's on the same,
right?
It's on the same coin. It's just two sides of the coin.
Right. And we have sameness and we have differentness. And in family systems theory, we have togetherness and we have separateness. We have individuation and we have connectedness. And we hold those two forces together. And that's a part of the human experience. It's actually a part of the whole biological experience of life, holding togetherness and separateness together. That's how life works, I believe, even on a cellular level, or even smaller than that.
Edwin Friedman talks about that in his book, Failure of Nerve. He goes deeper into that example of cells and how they are differentiated, and when they connect together, that's what creates cancer.
Right. When there's too much togetherness or fusion, then you have disease. And when you have a healthy balance of togetherness and separateness, you have a healthy life, healthy functioning life. When you have too much distance or separateness and no togetherness, then you don't have life. I think for many people who are in recovery, for many people who grew up in dysfunctional families and have struggled in their codependency or other kinds of problems that they've experienced. I know for me as a codependent, my existence was based on their beliefs and our sameness. And my existence was based on that. That's how important the sameness of beliefs and also feeling states, having mirrored feeling states was so important. I feel like you, you feel like me. I think like you think like me. And so differences were not valued. I think in my own religious past, there was a very strong pressure for sameness. We all should think and feel the same way. We should have a group think, and differences were not very well accepted. If you did not hold the party line or hold the company line, and that there was a great value in sameness. And even the feeling that my existence is based on same beliefs, same feelings, sameness, thinking alike, feeling alike, and not valuing the differences. And that if I'm me, if I'm self-aware, self-defined, and self-regulated, I'm going to be different from other people. And that's a good thing. And that's a good thing. Like you say, it's the human thing.
And if someone else is going to be self, they will be different for me.
Right. Right. They will be different. And we can have difference while also being connected. Though for many people, it is hard for them to connect with someone who is different from them. Because again, our existence or my existence was based on sameness. So if you're not same like me, then I need to exclude you, or we're not going to gel. We're not going to connect because we're not the same. And that is a problem and can be a problem because we are unique. We may have some common beliefs. We may even have some common feelings about different things, but I am still going to be a unique individual. And I won't believe everything everybody believes. I won't feel the way everybody feels. And can we still be connected? But accepting those differences is, I think, a part of maturity and growing up. That not everybody is me. And that's what I was looking for when I was younger.
And differences have it has many forms. Differences. It could be strengths that you or the other have. It could be weaknesses or limitations that you or the other have. And I can go even deeper with this, that accepting differences means accepting others' strengths without feeling inferior, meaning you don't feel less than the other person just because they have a strength, or you don't feel more than the other person just because you have a certain strength. You don't feel guilt for having a strength because you're allowed to have that strength, and you're allowed to be different than the other person in this way. And And it's understanding that when a lot of times feeling those feelings is because of the differences between ourselves and the other person. And very often when we feel those feelings, it's because we're not understanding this principle. We're not remembering this principle that
Right.
their difference means nothing about my difference, and my difference means nothing about their difference.
Right. Well, and I think that's where the therapeutic value comes in, and how it can be helpful in that they can be different and think different. I can be me and think differently, so that if they have a negative view of me, I'm letting them have that negative view of me, but I'm not absorbing it. And we don't have to think alike. I don't think that I am bad or stupid or worthless, or, you may think that. That's your thoughts. And so it gives me a greater amount of detachment and neutrality, because I accept that their differences can be ludicrous. I mean, they can be ridiculous, in dysfunctional families. Um, and those are their beliefs for whatever reasons, and there could be many reasons, but they're not my beliefs. And so they are different from me. And so I don't have to absorb that. I can observe those differences rather than absorb them.
Yeah.
And the health of I am not you and you are not me uh, notion, which I think is a helpful thing to be aware of, a helpful notion to have with other people. I'm not you and you're not me. And we don't have to be, that's even because my beliefs early on in my life were we have to be, we just do. And you have to like me, you have to agree with me. I shouldn't talk or be with people who don't think and feel the same way I do. And so we surround ourselves, particularly as codependents, with people who we can more mesh with, and we see a lot more sameness. But then that causes problems, because then that stifles the real self. And then we hide, then we keep secrets, then we lie, then we have those kinds of difficulties with that sameness that's needed for us all
Yeah.
to feel comfortable. Uh, and differences are a big thing. And I think that's a part of maturing and getting older, that you begin to realize, people think differently than I do, and they will. Um, and and is that okay? And is okay to think what I think and believe what I believe, and principles, values, morals, beliefs. Uh, is it okay that I am not the same?
Yeah.
And
I've learned on myself from the work I've done on myself that over functioning or being a hero is not respecting other people's differences. Um, when you try to change someone, you are not respecting the difference between you and the other person. When you're trying to fix them, when you're trying to fix a situation, it is not honoring this simple principle of there are differences, and it's okay that there are differences, and can you relate despite the differences, and what is required from you, what type of self-regulation do you need to do, or self-definition do you need to do, um, when this difference exists.
right. And I think that's where, if someone thinks harshly, meanly, badly about me, if I accept their differences, it doesn't mean I will stay in for the abuse. It means I now have to make choices as to how I'm going to relate to this person. I can't change them, and probably have tried to for many times, for a long time. but I can't change them. Now, what do I do to position myself with them that has the least toxic effect? So I'm accepting their differences, but I'm adjusting myself to that reality. And then we care for ourselves more. There's better self-protection, there's better self-choices when we accept the differences of others. Um, I was also going to mention that the not only are there differences in beliefs, but there can be differences in how we react and feel toward things. If you really want to get a reaction from someone, feel differently than they feel. I remember, like with mom always wanted me to come and visit her more often at the nursing home. Well, I visited about once a week, spend a couple hours. I would do that. And then occasionally I would do things during the week if she needed to go to a doctor's appointment or different things like that. But that was about the pace that I could do and that I was working and so when someone would come to me and say, I was talking to your mom and she sure would like to see you more, and I can just tell she wants you to come visit her more frequently. I go, oh, really? Yeah, she's mentioned that to me before. Well, don't you feel like you should honor your father and mother and you should go and visit her more? And I go, no, I feel pretty neutral about that. Now, what reaction are you going to get from somebody else? Because their guilt or their neediness or their obligations or their beliefs are quite different. That if my sainted mother tells them that she'd like to see me more often, they feel I should be empathetic or compassionate more with mom and go and see her more, and that my compassion and my feelings would be different. I'm much more neutral about that. They don't like my neutrality. They see that as a bad thing. And now I'm different in terms of my neutrality. That no, that's just about the frequency that I would like to do, and that feels comfortable for me. And I want to stay connected with my mother, but I don't want to talk to her for 3 hours every day and go visit her. I'm not going to do that. I also knew she had friends. She had, she had calls, and and then there were other residents, and I mean, it wasn't like she was just totally all alone. But even if she was totally all alone, if I'm working and if it's hard, I I can't just quit my job and go take care of mom's emotional needs. I just can't do it. But to be okay with that is having a difference of emotional response that people may not like and may not accept.
Yeah, and Jerry, you've mentioned the word reactive, and reactivity in a way is lack of being okay with difference. Because if you are okay with difference, then why would you be reactive to the other person?
Right.
It's exactly what you're saying right now. I'm okay with being neutral, so I don't need to be reactive.
I don't have to go, well, I wish mom wouldn't talk to you about what I should be doing to visit her. Why is she telling you that? I could get reactive, but if I'm okay with my position or I have neutrality, I don't have to react to them and say, thank you for caring about mom, but I'll be fine doing what I'm doing right now. Mom will be fine. She may not have everything she wants, but I don't have everything I want either. I mean, that's kind of life. I mean, I wish I could have everything I wanted. That'd be great. But I think you're right. Accepting those differences and being okay then reduces the reactivity. I like that point where we talked about others can believe what they choose, but I then must act accordingly. And oftentimes we don't want to act accordingly. We don't like the options of acting accordingly, because that may mean boundaries. It may mean loss of part of the relationship. It may mean loss of finances. It may mean a lot of things. And if we accept what they believe and where they're at, just like if someone believes I'm greedy and cannot manage money, and then a parent decides to give me less inheritance because I would misuse it. Well, I may not be greedy and I may not have financial irresponsibility. But if that's what they believe, that could have an impact on how it affects me. And so do I spend the rest of my life trying to prove to them that I'm deserving of that inheritance? Well, if you decided I'm not going to spend the rest of my life trying to prove that and change them, well, that could mean a loss of inheritance because of their beliefs. So, but how am I going to act accordingly to their beliefs? And I found one of the best ways to change a belief in others is to not be reactive to it. That's it. It's because oftentimes it's counterintuitive. It doesn't. It surprises them. In other words, them having that belief is totally on them to have, and they have to take responsibility for that belief. I'm not going to do things in a reactive way or whatever to enhance that belief or try to defend myself out of that belief. Because oftentimes defending means you're probably already lost. Anyway, so why do I want to defend myself? Oftentimes they've come to those beliefs for other reasons. And me defending myself doesn't fix it. No, I'm not financially responsible. Let me show you all of my past finances. No, I'm not greedy. Let me show you all the ways in which I've given to other people. How much would that truly work? Because often the belief has come from an irrational position or an emotional position or a systems role position, that it's not about the logic of it. So me giving you all the financial documents is probably not going to change anything about what you believe about me. And so I want to accept. However, accepting that's what they believe could possibly do more to dislodge them from that position in a systems way. But we don't do that to change them. But I'm just saying that can be a secondary or a byproduct.
Right. That's an important point, because this is not about forcing differences. It's about respecting differences, and forcing differences is not respecting differences.
Right. And even if those differences are illogical or irrational, we can still respect them, but then we have to act or choose accordingly how we're going to interact with them. But that's called being an adult. I mean, that's what we do. I can't change others' irrational beliefs. So I respect that. Those are their beliefs. I don't believe them to be true at all, but that's my belief. Now, what am I going to do? And, and so when the parent decides, okay, I want you all to know what's in my will, and Jerry, I'm not going to leave anything for you. We're all going to meet Saturday at the lawyer's office. I can decide whether I'm going to go or not. If there's nothing for me or nothing of, why am I going to go? Just to feel, or to be shamed or to be whatever. I mean, I can decide, well, if that's what you believe, then that's what you believe. And I don't see any good reason for me to be there. You're free to do with your money what you want to do. But I don't have to go. or I don't have to go to try to beg you to give me some inheritance, or, I'm not going to do that. And so I can decide that in a calm, matter-of-fact way.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that the feeling of difference, sometimes it could feel very liberating, and sometimes it could be the scariest feeling on earth.
And
And that's important to remember, because these both of these emotions will come up the more you differentiate and the more you find differences. And there are certain moments that the differences become scary, because you understand you are truly alone. Not that you weren't alone up until now. You were alone, you
right,
just didn't
but
know
you
you're
just didn't
alone.
know it. Right.
um, and when you experience the difference, when you really see where you end and the other person starts, it could get scary.
It's profound. Right. And you're right. I am the person that I have, and what boils down to is me. And that's why I like Margaret Paul's work on inner bonding, where we're bonding with ourselves and how important that is. But we really must do that, because really the only person you have is you. Um, and that becomes more aware in a very stark way when you start thinking about these differences. Because this is my belief, and I'm not going to get I'm not going to get a vote of a majority positive for what I'm believing or what I'm thinking or how I'm feeling.
and I don't need that vote.
And I don't
That's where
need
the
that
real
vote.
difference comes in. I don't need that vote.
And that does show how much you are standing alone. And I think there are other people who would be supportive of us, and there are other people we connect with, but we do have to learn to stand alone. And I think that's a part of maturity, is learning to stand alone. Well, we have come to the end of our time. Any other comments you want to make, Yitz, about this?
This was a good conversation. I really enjoyed these
Yeah.
series. We could seriously go on forever, and we might go on forever. Who knows?
Right.
But yeah, this principle is the essence of self-differentiation work. It's learning to be different. It's learning to respect differences, and it's being okay with the tension of difference. So this is the work.
Good words. This is principle 11, like making peace with differences. And I want to thank everyone for joining us today. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, join our membership for a paid $1.99 membership under join. I want to thank Yitz Goldberg for joining me today on doing this series, also on principles of self-differentiation. We're going to continue on with this. And if you'd like to work with either one of us, you can check with the website that's listed below, and you can make an appointment. You can go to the website and see things that will be coming up. I appreciate you all of you being there and listening to us today. Thank you, Yitz.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, everyone. Hopefully see you in the next principle.
Thank you, everyone. I hope you have a great day, and be wise.